is one, with a second soon to follow.
Apparently, there was a girl who used to live here. Some people say that you can still hear her. Some even go as far as to say, if she talks to you, she's chosen you.
Hello, everyone. So I'm Deborah from DiscussingIndieFilm, and today we have the pleasure of talking to Peter and Alexander from the Foreboding Fractured. So Peter, Alexander, welcome. This is a safe space. You can share anything that you want. The first question is, in case this is anybody's first time hearing about it, what is the Foreboding and what is it about?
The Foreboding Fractured, it follows a group of teenagers that go into the woods. They've just finished their first year of university and they go into the woods for a little celebration, except they run into danger and something happens which, leaves their fates at risk. Apart from that, there's not really much else I can say. We have to keep a lot to our chests at the moment. Which is really tricky because we can't spoil anything, but there's a lot to it.
Yeah, that's good to know. Anything you want to add, Alexander?
Without spoiling anything, not really. Peter's basically summed it up. You know, teens go in the forest, a lot happens. So, yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to wait, to see what happens and everything that you guys are keeping from us, I guess.
Yeah.
So, okay, sorry, I interrupted you. Were you going to say something?
No, so I was just saying, yeah, there's an awful lot in there that's like, it's quite a very telling story, I suppose.
It sounds really basic, but there's a lot to it. And then once we're on the other side, once the film is released, then we can talk a lot more about it. But for the time being, it's really hard because we do want to talk about it. We really want to go into depth, but we just have to keep it under wraps for now.
No, yeah, I completely understand. And I'm excited to see it. And then we can finally, talk about it with more detail. That would be great. So how did you guys come up with the idea and how long was the process of writing, pre-production and production itself? So how long have you been, immersed in this world?
Yeah, it's pretty new. It only came around sort of the end of June time this year. I went to Alex and I said to him, I've always wanted to do my own version of a teen horror story. So I went to him saying, I really want to make something for the Horror and Sea Film Festival, which takes place in the UK, January every year. And I said, I really want to make something for this festival. So I went to Alex saying, I want the basic plot of a group of teenagers that go into the woods. Something happens, but our own spin on it. So Alex went away, wrote the scripts, and he came back really, really quickly. Very quick, worked very quick on it. And it was a fantastic script. And I was really happy with it. The dynamics of the characters in the piece are really interesting, and they've got good relationships. There's a sense of humanity in all of these characters that I think you can relate to for everyone.
Great.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
The script was, sorry, yeah, my bad. The script, when Peter came to me, we had a couple of ideas that kind of popped up. It was sort of when he said a teen horror flick was sort of the thing that kind of just made me go off on a massive sort of tangent. And then I think it was about 3 or 4 hours after our discussion, he had the first draft in his inbox, which that is definitely a record for me. I've never written a short film in the span of 3 or 4 hours before, so that was entirely new. But yeah, it was a very fun thing to write, because I don't usually write horror. I've sort of dabbled in it. Well, I say dabbled, I've tiptoed around it. But this time it was definitely something I wanted to do, especially considering it was, not going to be as cliched as other horror films.
So deadline submission was start of September. So taking this into production sort of start of July, we had literally 2 months to get this entire film done. We had to go through the whole casting process. Obviously, Alex getting the script together, finalizing that, getting the location, sourcing for crew and cast. We had to do all of that, and then obviously filming on top of that, and then actually piecing the film together all in 2 months. It was just it was mental. I can't believe we got it done.
Yeah. Pre-production was absolutely insane. It was every single day we'd be working on it. Because if we missed a day, there was a high chance that we wouldn't be able to make the film. And there was a couple of moments where we kind of went, oh, we might not be able to make it, purely because it came down to location, really. That was like the main issue we had. And when we did eventually get it, that was like a massive weight off our shoulders. I mean, probably more on Peter, considering he was getting the emails about it, and I was just kind of sat back like, well, I don't know what to do. When it came to actual production, we only had 3 days to shoot that. So we had to try and shoot originally it was going to be 45 minutes, but we had to cut some scenes out, so that's gone down to 26. Which, you know what, kind of works a lot better. So there was definitely a blessing in disguise there. And then sort of post-production, we've kind of, we had to get the first draft of the film in, literally, basically beginning September, wasn't it?
Yeah, very start of September.
Yeah, so that was a case of come off set and get that first draft together.
We had 1 month to get that first draft in, didn't we? Just 1 month.
Yeah, it was a very, very tight schedule. And then we had to basically get the soundtrack done as well. So myself and Olivia Bennett, who plays Lauren in the film, when we're talking on set, we're kind of saying, oh yeah, we love doing music. So when it came to doing the soundtrack, basically gave her a call and went, do you want to help me out? So in 2 days, we did the soundtrack, got 9 or 10 tracks done in the 2 days. And I can safely say it's a good track. I'm quite shocked.
Yeah, the soundtrack is amazing. They've done a really good job with the soundtrack. Yeah, you've done it really quickly as well. For the only limited amount of time you had, I think the music fits the atmosphere. Just fits perfectly with Kemal's cinematography, and has created this whole world, this spooky atmosphere of the woods of what the teenagers go into. It really creates that essence, that sense of these teenagers are going to be in trouble.
Oh, I bet. It was very impressive that you guys did this, very quickly, writing the script and producing it, and you had this tight deadline. Like, it was really impressive. So now I want to know more about the casting process, because I know you guys did an open call, and, it was well received and well responded. How was that? Like, were you expecting these many actors to be interested? How did you, choose the actors? Was there a deciding factor, or, how was that?
Oh, Matt, it was interesting, wasn't it? Yeah, the casting call went out, and yeah, definitely we weren't expecting the amount of people to really be flooding in. It got to the point where we had to close it early because we were getting way too many people in, and just because of our deadline, we had to kind of think more practically about it. Like, yeah, we could let tons of people audition, but then it takes us longer to find who's going to be playing those other roles. And everyone who put in their tapes were really, really good. But obviously the roles went to Olivia Bennett, Eve, Kathryn, Oliver, and Siena, Shih. Siena, when she did her audition tape, I was at Peter's house, and we were watching it, and she was insane. Like, I thought she was going to come through the TV. It was genuinely so creepy. Yeah, I think out of all the actors that we got on in the end, Siena was the only one who went for one character, because Eve and Olivia both went for Abby and Lauren. So, and obviously Eve got Abby, and she does a sensational job as Abby, and made my life as an actor so much easier to work alongside her. And Lauren, she's just got that thing with the character. I mean, I loved Lauren writing her, so having an actress who made me love that character even more was incredible.
Yeah, the casting process was just absolutely insane. We never expected it to blow up as much as we did, because we just put the casting call out. We knew we needed to get cast the actresses pretty quickly, because obviously the time frame we had to make this film, and it just blew up. Twitter went absolutely mad, reposts coming in, and like Alex said, we had to close it early because it was just flooding in. It was getting too much. So sadly we had to limit it. But yeah, the actresses we cast in absolutely blew us away with their performances. Like Siena's audition was terrifying. She plays their villain in the film. She was, needed to go to the toilet. Was very scared, but no, she done amazing. So we're really happy with who we cast.
Oh yeah.
And then obviously, with Alex plays Connor in the film. When I went to Alex, I wanted an opportunity to act alongside Alex, because we've been in another project together. We've never actually had the opportunity to act alongside each other. I'm primarily an actor, so I wanted to be in the film as well, and obviously to act alongside Alex. So yeah, it was just the three actresses we needed to cast, really. It's quite a limited cast in this film, but good characters.
Awesome. That's really, really great to hear. And, I can imagine how hard it is to do a casting process, and even you guys as actors went in the behind the scenes to choose the casting. It must have been a unique experience too. You get to experience what it is to pick a cast, and you guys seem pretty proud of it. And I'm sure the cast is phenomenal, and I can't wait to see everybody in action. So now I have a question, and maybe it's a spoiler, but as much spoiler-free as you can answer it. What was the hardest scene to film? Like, was there a scene that you had to film like 5 times because somehow, it wasn't going, or, someone kept forgetting their lines for some reason? Was there something like that?
Yeah, there was definitely a couple of scenes. It wasn't really down to the actors. It was down more to the environment. We got caught in torrential weather on our filming day. So on one day it was, completely pouring it down. When I got back, I didn't feel like I needed a shower. Pretty sure I had that throughout most of the day. And in the evening, we had more technical issues, being our generator. So we couldn't light a scene properly. So someone had to build this massive campfire. And you know what? It looks absolutely amazing, to the point where that whole scene is now my favorite. Like, with the music, the composition, and just, very, very natural lighting, it makes so much difference. It's a beautiful scene. And then there's the final scene, which, because our generator was failing once again, it meant the 4 hours we had left to film went down to an hour. And our last scene is, it's quite a big one. It's the finale. You got to make it spectacular. So there was a good, 15 minutes, I reckon, where myself, Peter, and the director Kemal were all in this one little bit of the barn, kind of going, what the hell do we do? Because we had to change that whole scene on the spot. And we did, and it does look so, so good. But there was this small moment where it became really, really difficult.
Yeah, we ran into a lot of challenges on this set. Like, there was so many problems that we faced. I mean, we was filming in July and August, right in the middle of the summer, typical British weather, pissing it down with rain, absolute torrential rain. We were soaked. We was freezing cold because we were filming quite early hours into the morning. And it was just absolutely freezing. It was on this remote farm site in the middle of Sussex. So that was pretty mental. But to be honest, the team we had by our side, we really got through it. Like, we had an incredible team of cast and crew that all, you know, we got involved to get us through these issues, and we all worked as a team to get through that. But it's a typical indie film. You run into issues is what you can expect from it. Considering the film's running time is a lot less than we originally had it to be, I'm still pretty proud of it. I'm proud of the result. At the end of the day, we've walked away with a film, which I'm happy about. Which
in itself is so difficult to do. I mean, I was saying basically just yesterday that getting the material is the easiest part. Is actually getting the film into production. That is the hardest part. And I never realized how hard it was until, you know, actually being beside Peter, seeing how that all happens it's an insane process.
Oh, I can't imagine, you know, you guys telling the stories. I got, you know, anxious myself, like having 4 hours to one, and it's like the final scene. But, you know, you guys managed pretty well, and I'm happy to know that it turned out great. And I can't wait, again, I can't wait to see it, you know, the final result, because everything you guys are telling me, I'm just so anxious to know, like, okay, how does it look? I really want to see it. Now I have a question about what was like the biggest lesson that you learned from the characters that you played? Was there something, you know, specific that, you know, stood out? What about it?
That's a good question. That's a very good question. We haven't been asked that yet, actually. Got our brains ticking. I mean, I loved the character that I've played. I play Aaron, and he's just such a very energetic. He's sort of the golden retriever of the group. Very high on life, crazy amounts of energy. Obviously not spoiling anything that happens in the film. I don't want to give that away, but there's a lesson to be learned. It's not to take anything for granted. I can't say it without spoiling anything. But what you see from the start of the film is a very different character at the end of the film, and all of these characters all go on a journey, and it's within the environment, and it's what happens in this environment that really tests them, and it is very different at the end compared to the start. And within a 26-minute period, they go through a hell of a lot.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what lesson I did learn from Connor, you know, like, because he's quite a soft character. Not in the case of if things go wrong, he's not going to do something about it. It's like he's a very, very gentle character. He's almost the opposite to Aaron. You know, Aaron's like, you know, really big and loud and basically just has no filter. And you have Connor, who's like, time and place. I know what I know when to shut up. But he's got a sort of I feel like with each character they have some form of burden thrust upon them throughout the film. But I think Connor's character is probably the one who handles it the best, considering the circumstances. I think he's got a very very, very strong mindset, if that makes sense. If he has an objective and he strives to get it, then that's like the only thing he's gonna aim for. Anything else happening, he's gonna sort of try and block out. He's got his main priority, which is really, really cool. And it makes the ending of the film a lot more, I wouldn't say cathartic, because that'd be the wrong word. But it makes those relationships feel so much more authentic. And there's just this one little scene at the end where it is a proper breakdown of all those characters, and you really get to see them properly. So it's It's interesting. I suppose the best way to put it, without spoiling anything, it is a bit of an emotional journey.
Yeah. I mean, I can imagine, the ways you guys are explaining it, I can perfectly picture it in my head. And with that, what message do you hope that the people who get to watch the film will have? Is there a sort of a message, or would you want people to feel or to understand? Again, as much as spoiler free as you can be. I know it can be hard, but
I don't really have a message in there. As a writer, I don't go into writing something with a message in mind. Sometimes, you kind of write something and you find it along the way. I think that's a so much better way of writing. You have a bit of self-discovery along with the audience. But I suppose what I would want the audience to be feeling, really, I want them to be feeling really sorry for these characters. Like, I didn't make this film to be happy. At the end, I kind of want them to, with the characters who don't make it, be like, that's generally really, really sad. And even those who have, really weigh up the thing of, at this point, what's better, just getting killed off or have to live with everything that's happened? There's a very, very dark side to the story, and I feel like the audience will feel that.
Yeah, it's just hoping that the audience will feel something, like Alex said. I mean, these characters, there's a lot of emotion in this film. They go on a very emotional journey. From the beginning of the film, it's all light-hearted, there's comedy elements, and then as a typical horror film, it all goes to crap pretty quickly. But I'm just hoping that the audience will really enjoy the characters. Alex, with his brilliant writing skills, they're really humanized characters. There's something in all four of them that you can relate to. And they're a really good friendship group. Like, the relationships between the characters, just, comedy elements sprinkled in there. Alex said that Alex went to university and he based it on sort of his life and some of his friends' life as well to introduce that into the scripts. But yeah, we've talked about the future of the film, and there may be stuff happening. So again, another reason why we're hoping that the audience will really enjoy these characters, if there'll be more of them to come in the future.
Yeah, I really like how you guys said that there is a little bit to relate to each character, because I like when I watch a movie and I can't relate to at least one character. So the fact that you can at least relate to the four of them is actually amazing. And the final question is, how can people watch the movie, where, when, and you mentioned about the future. So is there hopes of a sequel? What's the future of the movie, and how can people keep an eye on it?
I mean, I'll mention the future of it, since since I know how to kind of go down that route without spoiling it now. It's taken me a while to figure out how to not spoil it, but yeah, obviously depending on audience reaction, we have discussed making a feature. Now, it wouldn't necessarily be a sequel, but it can be seen that way. Promoting this film, I've heavily mentioned that, perspective is key in this universe that is being created. And that the feature will heavily emphasize that 100%. But that is only if the audience are, really wanting one. And if they do, I would more than happily get all these people back just to sort of give a good little send-off, I think.
Yeah, it's going to be doing the festival run starting next month, January, and then it'll be going on a festival run. We've submitted it into quite a few festivals now, some of which are overseas as well. We're hoping to get it in other countries. So that will be the start of the film. And then after that, we're still working out distribution plans for where another audience can hopefully see it. But we're still working it out at the moment.
Nice. Well, we'll hope the audience likes it. I'm pretty sure they will, because I'm pretty sure the film is amazing. And don't forget to submit it to Brazil. I'm pretty sure you guys could get, you know, in a festival around here. That would be really, really interesting. Do you guys have any final notes before, you know, we're, you know, done with this? Anything else you would like to share?
Oh, I think the only thing I have to say is if you're expecting a sort of traditional horror story, that's not what it is. You know, we've taken inspiration, but we've made it stand on its own 2 feet. So it is it's as original as you can get these days, I suppose.
Yeah, something you not really expecting. I think the audience is going to be surprised again, and another reason why we're keeping a lot to our chest as well, because the amount of secrecy that's been behind this film from the very beginning of when this came into production, we want to keep that all the way through. So we released a teaser trailer that doesn't give away too much. Stills don't really give away anything. We're keeping a lot to our chest. So when it does go to audiences at the festivals, I think they'll be in for a surprise in the best possible way.
Oh, I'm sure of that. Well, guys, thank you for your time. Thank you, you know, for agreeing to the interview and sharing so much insight on the stories. I particularly love to listen to it. To everybody who's watching, keep an eye out for those two, and keep an eye out for the Foreboding Fractured.